Welcome to the Crunch Time YouTube channel. So today we're going to be talking about why the Chicago Bears will make a move for one of the top QBs available in the market. And there are about three main reasons that I'm going to dive into. And let's get right into the video. So the first reason is there are just a lot of QBs available to trade for, sign for, or even draft. If we look at it, Russell Wilson and Deshaun Watson have been in a lot of trade rumors. There's been even a player like Derek Carr, Marcus Mariota. Those are players who have also been in a lot of trade rumors. Majority of teams this offseason are looking to make a move at QB. Maybe even Dak Prescott if the Dallas Cowboys don't re-sign him. There's just so many options out there that it would be stupid if the Chicago Bears did nothing at the quarterback position. Trubisky's also a free agent. I doubt they re-sign him. He's just a backup. Everyone knows that at this point. But there's a lot of QBs available, and it's not like the Bears are at that position where they have no picks. The trade with Khalil Mack, I think all the picks that they had to give to the Las Vegas Raiders, that is all done. So if they have Khalil Mack, they aren't giving him anything picks-wise to the Raiders. So they still have picks this year, next year. They have a lot to give that they can give. And moving on to the next point is the Chicago Bears are not even a bad team. They won 8 or 9 games with Nick Foles and Mitch Trubisky as their quarterbacks. They did have a few fluky wins. They did beat the Falcons in that crazy comeback. They did beat the Buccaneers in a very interesting game. Could have gone either way. But still had a good year. And a lot of this was carried by the defense. They have an elite defense. Kyle Fuller, cornerback. Eddie Jackson, probably the best free safety in football. Really good linebackers. Roquan Smith, Trevathan is good. And then, of course, they have Khalil Mack, Akeem Hicks, Eddie Goldman. They signed Robert Quinn last offseason. He didn't perform as well as you'd like to. They're paying him a decent amount of money. Hopefully he can do better for them next year, but they still can always go out and get even more help on that defense. And the offense itself isn't even too bad. Now, it's not like Kansas City, but they are like maybe an average offense. If they can trade for a quarterback, a huge benefit would be that maybe Allen Robinson will stay. Because already with this terrible quarterback position they have, he said that it's not out of the picture for him to re-sign with Chicago. So if they got like an elite quarterback, Deshaun Watson, Russell Wilson, I think he'd really want to stay then. Because he's never really played with elite quarterbacks in his career. He's had Blake Bortles and Mitch Trubisky. Those are the two main people who have thrown the football to him. And those are not good quarterbacks. So he probably wants to go somewhere where there's a good quarterback. And if you can bring a good quarterback over, that really helps the rest of your offense. Not just because obviously a better quarterback makes a team good, but if Allen Robinson stays, then maybe it opens up more opportunities for Anthony Miller, Darnell Mooney, who a lot of people are high on, think can take the next step. And they do have a good running back. They have David Montgomery. They did sign Tariq Cohen to like a 3-year deal or something this middle of the year. He did get hurt, so he missed a lot of time. But him and Montgomery will be a really good running back tandem. And that's really nice to see when teams aren't relying on one workhorse running back. We see how that can fail a lot of the times. Like, looking at Dallas with Ezekiel Elliott, he had a down year. And their run game was basically messed up because of that, because they couldn't really turn to anyone else. They had Tony Pollard, but he's just a rotational backup. He's not like a Tariq Cohen or David Montgomery. They didn't have other options. A lot of teams, like the Giants, they're relying on not Christian McCaffrey. Saquon Barkley, he's out. Your whole team, your whole offense is screwed. The Bears lost Tariq Cohen, and while that did affect them, they still had another good running back they could turn to. And tight end, they drafted Cole Kmet way earlier than they should have last year. But he's still a good player. And the offensive line isn't even the worst in the league. There are a lot of bad offensive lines in the league. But they have two good guards in Cody Whitehair and James Daniels. They need to draft a center and get tackles. So if they could focus on getting a quarterback and tackle help, and they do need center too this offseason, then they have a really good team next year that could maybe even get like 10 or so wins. Because they were in a difficult division last year. Lions are rebuilding. The Vikings, like, how much better are they going to get? And then Packers, you already lost to them twice, so it can't get any worse. And the final point why I think the Chicago Bears will get a quarterback is Ryan Pace and Matt Nagy. This is probably both of their last years in Chicago, so they really won't care about future assets if they're going to be gone after this season. Why would they care? It's not going to be their job, not going to be their problem. Now, Ryan Pace has done a decent job. He's been a pretty good drafter, in my opinion, but his trades, well, other than Mitch Trubisky, that was a pretty bad decision. He has had other questionable decisions, but he hasn't been the greatest, hasn't been the worst. He's like mediocre, average GM. But if he can make a trade, that would bring a Russell Wilson, Deshaun Watson to Chicago. That would really just make football in Chicago, like, they have a legit chance to win something. Because everyone knows you can't win anything with a subpar quarterback. And that's what all they've had almost ever in their franchise history. I can't really, like, Jay Cutler, he was no superstar. You can't really name anyone who Chicago's ever had, like, that's a superstar quarterback. Like, Rex Grossman, he led them to the Super Bowl. So they've had some decent quarterbacks leading them places. And if you could get Deshaun Watson or Russell Wilson, you'd really have an explosive team. People would actually be afraid to play with Chicago Bears. Because people are afraid to play that defense. But that offense is why they're just a team. No one's, like, scared of the Bears. Now, I'm going to name a few of the potential options at quarterback they could go after that would really fill that need. So, obviously, there's Deshaun Watson, Russell Wilson. I think everyone prefers Deshaun Watson to Russell Wilson just because they're basically the same, as in, like, same ranking. You'd have them both around a 3 to 6-ish range. But the biggest thing is Watson's a lot younger than Russell Wilson. I believe he's almost around like 6 to 8 years younger. And about 6 to 8 years, you'd have Deshaun Watson, assuming you don't upset him like the Texans. With knowing the Bears, that's very possible that they could end up doing that. But assuming all goes well, you have like 8 more years of a quarterback there. And we know Chicago's not great at getting a quarterback. So just trading a ton of your picks to have a good quarterback isn't even bad for a team like Chicago. But they also have options like drafting Mac Jones at 18-ish. And they still could trade up because, hypothetically thinking, if you're willing to give a ton of picks to trade for like Deshaun Watson, Russell Wilson, they could trade up for an elite QB prospect in this draft. Like Miami's picking 3, they could trade. If the Falcons are not interested in Fields or Wilson, they could trade back with them. There's a lot of options for Chicago this offseason. They just have to do something. Even like Sam Darnold, you can take a shot at him. I don't know how confident I am that Chicago's team is the best for Darnold and that they'll be able to develop a quarterback who does need a lot of work. Because Darnold's not had the greatest success in the NFL. But you'd have a young quarterback with upside and someone who really could be you like the leader of your team. Now, there are older options. They didn't cut. The football team cut Alex Smith. Ryan Fitzpatrick, looks like Fitzpatrick's going to be retiring. Cam Newton, there are older veteran options. But I feel like this team, they want to go for more of a young, like Justin Fields, Trey Lance, Zach Wilson. Or they want to go for Deshaun Watson, Russell Wilson. And I personally think just go for the older player. Deshaun Watson, Russell Wilson. Few years older, they're already getting paid a ton of money. But you don't have to worry about developing them because you're the Bears. You suck at developing quarterbacks. So, if you can get an already established quarterback, that's perfect for you. You don't need much more. You'd be probably the top 5 team in the NFC who's better. Maybe the Buccaneers, the Packers, not the Saints anymore, the 49ers, and arguably the Rams. Forgetting a division, the NFC East, no one's good in the East. So you'd be arguably 5 in the NFC, and that's probably better than the AFC. So you'd have a really strong team, because right now they're probably not top 7, even if they made the playoffs last year. Arizona got better, 49ers were hurt, just a lot of more teams, a lot more competition next year. So if you can get a quarterback, really would be huge for Chicago. I think they end up going after one, just because the factor of the 3 reasons I just listed, there's a lot of QBs on the move. They're a good team. They need a quarterback, and it's their GM's last year, so he has nothing to lose. So let me know what your thoughts were on this video. If you think the Bears should go after quarterback, who they should go after. Make sure to subscribe and leave a like, and have a great day.